Thank you for tuning into the My Positive Perspective Internet Show today, where we feature individuals and groups who share the common goal of improving the local Charleston community. Today's episode is brought to you by S03E56, who reminds you that first impressions are always important. Joining me on today's episode is Michael Fennell. So how you doing, Michael?
Good, Jason. Thank you for having me.
Good. Well, thanks for being here. And you are one of Charleston's better known chefs. And of course, Charleston is the culinary profession is something that we're well known for. A lot of tourists come to our city solely just because they want to eat our food.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy they come all that way just to eat our food. But since that's the case, I'd like to know, how did you yourself get involved in cooking in the culinary business?
It is a very foodie city. And
yes.
I grew up, I started cooking really about the age of 13. I lost my father at that age, and my mom went back to work. And, the kids, we'd come home from school and either make the dinner for the family or, just eat ourselves. But the duty originally passed to my closest sister, Colleen, who, her first attempt was reading the instructions from my mom. Take chicken out of fridge, put in oven at 350. That was it.
Yeah.
Well, Colleen took the chicken out of the fridge, still in the plastic and styrofoam, and put it in the oven at 350. So needless to say, that epic failure, I took over the cooking duties from there, and it kind of stuck with me. Through college, I went to college for business management and advertising and law for a little while, and then music school. So I had a diversified college career, but what kept that all intact was cooking and being in the restaurant scene and working. I worked every position from host to busboy to back of the house prep and executive chef, and eventually became a director of food and beverage for Hilton and an executive chef with them.
Okay.
And spent many years studying under some incredible chefs. And I mentioned in another segment that Katie Lorenzen, who was opening up Tavern and Table here on Shem Creek, I worked with her under Bo McMillan out of the Sanctuary Resort in Paradise Valley. I was a front of house manager for them. Bo was the executive chef de cuisine. And I have never learned so much of my life under this one guy. And if anybody watches Food Network, you'll know who Bo McMillan is, because Bo is on there all the time. He is a great guy, an awesome teacher, and the menus that Katie is producing now for Tavern and Table are really, there's nothing like it in town currently. So that'll be exciting. But I really just love that passion and energy and freshness and creativity that Bo put into his dishes. And so I really started focusing more on cooking versus the front of house operations.
Yeah.
So I kind of floated around a different idea or two with menus when I was an F&B director, and I really kept coming back to higher end cuisine and dishes. I really liked stepping things up a notch, and I really loved personalized service. So the whole idea of cooking for couples came about because it's something that I think, despite us having so many incredible chefs and restaurants, it is amazing here. There's really nobody that specializes on the romance and intimacy for couples in their own home. That they don't want to go downtown. They don't want to hassle with parking. They don't want to hassle with weather, wait lists, loud restaurants.
People,
it is a treat. It is a benefit. But the other thing to my business is they create their menus for my website at cookingforcouples.co.
Okay.
And I bring all the food, and I bring all the dishware, I bring everything to set up the table so it's romantic, elegant, the whole works. Prepare the meal to their desire, and I clean the kitchen 9 times out of 10. I mean, not all the time. I leave it cleaner than they had it before.
Yeah.
So usually the females love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it turned into, I really just wanted to cook maybe an event or two, just to stay cooking. And what it turned into in my first year was that I did over 52 events in my first year.
Oh, wow.
And then second year, about the same really. And it grew into wedding parties, receptions. I did a wedding for 200 back in May, so it really kind of became very large, larger than I thought it would be. So the business idea and the business model has worked, and I'll keep going forward with it. I'm pretty much on hold right now because of the Toys for Tots Gala. So I will restart booking again for 2015. The Toys for Tots Gala is really taking all of my energy currently, and I've got a couple holiday parties mixed in there as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, I mean, it is so nice, to have that, person come to the house, prepare the food, the dishes, are you familiar with like the different, foods that vegetarians eat versus non-vegetarians?
Sure, there's a classification difference between vegan and vegetarian, obviously. If anybody has any special requests or needs along those lines, I can do it. My sister is a vegetarian. My mom is a celiac. And I know there's a lot of people out there now with celiac disease, and it's coming around more so. So specialized menus for gluten-free products and for non-dairy related products, all of that, I think any chef in the business really needs to know how to prepare any meal at any time for those kind of people with those kind of conditions.
What are, one of the main needs the human body always has is protein. And meats are very rich in protein.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a vegetarian, you don't eat meat. So how would vegetarians go about getting their protein?
There's different stocks that you can use when creating vegetarian dishes.
Mm-hmm.
You can use a chicken base or a beef base, which will add the flavor and the substance to it, as well as the protein itself.
Okay.
There's things you can go along those routes. And there's also things out there like turkey tofu, excuse me,
tofu, yeah,
and other things that can help to sustain their body and their needs for the proteins and things along those lines.
Okay, good. Maybe you could, talk about how cooking kind of like becomes an art to you, because you got to mix in, you want all the colors of the rainbow on your dishes, and how does all that go about being coordinated?
I think from my end, and people have asked in the past exactly what kind of chef I am, and I consider myself a compositional chef.
Okay.
Where I will take the individual things that make up the entire meal on the plate. Every one of those individual items has a different flavor to itself that is unique to itself. But when all those flavors are brought together, the whole dish itself really just explodes. I also focus really on complementing the dish itself with different salts from around the world, like a Maui black sea salt. There's Himalayan smoked salts. There's Himalayan pink salts. I like to decorate around the plates with those certain salts and peppers to add, an added flavor element to the dish, not your standard table salt, table pepper, those kind of things. Because you'd really be surprised how big that whole world in itself is, just with your different seasoning salts and peppers that you can, pretty much buy and use in your dishes. So when it all comes together, it is something that blows away. I think most people have got 100% success rate so far with cooking for couples, which is outstanding, I think. And I want to keep that trend going. And there was one couple that I've cooked for a few times now, and great people, love them to death. And the last time I cooked for them, they ordered my salmon Wellington, which is a nice dish. I like it. Mm-hmm. I don't try to ever eavesdrop, when people are dining, but I do like to overhear if they're enjoying it or not.
Right, sure.
And of course, I'll go back and check on the table. And I went back and checked on them, and Victor told me, he goes, Michael, we just got back from 2 weeks in Paris. And we were at a 4th Diamond Michelin restaurant. Mm-hmm. We ordered their #1 dish on their menu. And he's like, your dish blows that away.
Yeah, wow.
And that, honestly, it's the greatest compliment any chef could get. So, it's a great feeling, so when you can make people that happy, and when you can keep rebooking guests, and that much love and respect that you start to build the client base that I have with now, goes a long way. So I love what I do, and I think I show that on every plate that I create.
Certainly. One last question before I let you go. How do you pair your foods with your wines? Because that's something couples enjoy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there's a lot of standards and staples that you can go by with, Pinot Noir for meats and whites for chicken and things along those lines. But for me, it comes down to more the sauces that I'm creating with the dish. Okay. That need to complement the wine and vice versa. So while your proteins are all going to be staples, Pinot Noir and lamb and Pinot Noir and filet, or a nice Cabernet with a filet, there is certain elements and finesse in every bottle of wine that can actually complement the meal and bring it out so much to a higher level if you can understand the flavor ingredients between the wine and what you're putting on the plate. Okay. And I think most chefs do have that technique down, obviously.
Great. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Jason.
Thank y'all for tuning in to My Positive Perspective, and have a great day.
On a sunny day, I feel my thoughts drift away. Only good vibes and good times living in my brain. On a sunny day, catch me lamping in the shade, feeling so fine and so high. Oh, my sunny day, still I hope efforts will one day pan out. The love within you'll never be without. So I roll